Hi friends, Harvey and I are back today with another myofascial release self-massage video you can follow along with at home. Today we'll be rolling out our suboccipital muscles, this muscle at the top of your neck and the base of your skull that's responsible for things like rotating the head, flexion and extension of your cervical spine, so this lifting and lowering action of the chin, and even little movements of the eyes. A lot of us tend to have tighter suboccipital muscles because we spend our days like this, or like this, or like this, texting away, and our neck is in that extension position, creating some contraction through this muscle. We'll start, as always, by landmarking exactly where the muscle is, reaching around to the back of your head. If you place your hand on your skull, this big bone at the back, this is our occiput, and our suboccipitals sit just below that. So you might walk your fingertips down to the top of your neck until you start to feel this little fleshy muscle bed. It's at the top of the neck and the base of this occiput bone. We'll take our tune-up balls and place them sideways in position against this area. I like to do this exercise on a mat, and it gives me a little bit more control over the amount of pressure I'm applying. I also like to use tune-up balls, again, to create just a little bit more sensation. I find if you're not using the block, there's just a little bit of space between the ball and the back of the neck, and we don't get the same degree of self-release. So we'll start by placing the tune-up balls horizontally on a block, and if you don't have one at home, you can use a big book, something sturdy, whatever you got on hand. We'll turn around. I like to start with my feet planted, rolling down onto my spine. If you've got longer hair, lift it up out of the way, just so that you don't pull some hair out with the tune-up balls. Definitely done that. Definitely don't recommend. And then adjusting that position of the block and the balls ever so slightly until you feel them kind of nestling into place. You can hear me already taking a big, deep breath in here. You know that I always encourage spending a bit of time to breathe before we start to add any movement, and this goes for any rolling exercise. Science tells us that we're spending about 90 seconds of just exploring the static pressure is all we need to start reaping the benefits of this work. But that said, I want you to spend a little bit longer. We spend so much of our day rushing from one thing to the next. So can we commit to being here, to doing this one little thing for ourselves for just a few minutes? Take a deep, full breath in. Sigh it out. What can you let go? Can you soften through the shoulders and inner thighs? One more time, deep, full breath in. This time, as you exhale, press your head back into the tune-up balls. Just feel that pressure. And then relax it. I've got my hands on my belly as a nice reference point to notice, am I still breathing? Nice deep rounds of breath. But you're welcome to set your hands out to the side if that feels more comfortable. Same goes for the feet. My knees are planted. That gives me a sense of stability, but if you prefer to lengthen your legs out long, you are welcome to. If you haven't already, close your eyes down. The suboccipitals I mentioned are responsible for a little movement of the eyes. And so by removing that sensory input, we allow the muscle to relax just a little bit more. And you keep finding these deep rounds of breath. I want you to notice your lower back. Is it arching away from the floor? Maybe you wiggle your hips forward, curl the hips towards the ribs, the slight pelvic tilt, to encourage the lower back to really relax. As always, you are welcome to stay right here in stillness. We derive so much benefit just from this application of static pressure. Or you might start to introduce some really small motions. Maybe just a teeny roll to the right, like you're shaking your head no. And then teeny roll over to the left. Keep it small, maybe a tenth of your usual range of motion. Keep it slow. Resist that urge, that go, that constant crush of productivity, to-do lists. Capitalism, grr. Can we keep it slow and mindful? Eyes closed. Notice if your jaw tightens or if those little muscles on your cheek twinge. If the muscles around the eyes tighten as we move from one side to the other. If you can, if it feels safe, keep those eyes closed. I promise you there is nothing interesting happening on the screen here. Harvey isn't even around. Notice if you've started to hold your breath, or if the breath is quite shallow. As we continue this left and right movement of the skull, make your breath a little deeper. Maybe, just maybe, starts to get a little bit bigger. Maybe 2 inches to the left, 2 inches to the right. Notice how that shifts the pressure to one side of this muscle, through the center, and over to the other. Common to notice little asymmetries, discrepancies side to side. Common also to feel twinges elsewhere in the face. Could be on your temples. Could be down the back of your shoulders or in your palms. Our muscles are interwoven and encased with fascial connective tissues, and that fascia interweaves throughout our body. And so when we release tension and fascia in one part of the body, you might feel little twinges, little sensations elsewhere down the line. It's like untying a knot somewhere in a piece of rope. You might get a little more space or a sudden give somewhere else further on down the rope. Next time you look all the way over to the right, pause. Option here to find just a tiny lift of your chin and lower. We'll do just a few of these. Deep breath in, little lift of the chin like you're nodding your head yes, and then drop it down towards the chest. Small movement. Let's do 2 more. Lifting, breathing in, exhaling, dropping the chin. One last time. Lift, drop. Back to center, we roll our way over to the left. Go slow. Keep breathing. Tiny lift of the chin once you're looking all the way to the left. Tiny drop. Again, might just be lifting and lowering that chin an inch. Breathe in, little lift. Breathe out, tiny drop. Inhale, lift. Exhale, drop. 2 more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, drop. Relax the jaw, the muscles of the back of the neck, the shoulders. Last one, little lift. Exhale, drop. Rolling back to center now. Might pause. Chin is in this level position, shoulders grounding down. Might open and close your jaw a few times. Ang, ang, ang. That's the monster noise. If you know, you know. And just notice, how does the back of your neck feel? Can you tuck your chin in towards your throat? Feel this pressure. And then release that effort. Soften. Let's do that 2 more times. Big breath in. Exhale, chin draws towards the neck. And soften. Third time, chin draws in. Big breath out, relax it. One last option for movement here. You might find a little lift of your chin and lower. Our gaze is straight ahead, eyes might be closed, little lift and lower. I think I have. Oh, yep, it's a cat. My eyes were closed, see? So I didn't know, but then he purred. Tiny lift and lower. And if this doesn't feel good, hang out in stillness, move left and right instead. You can always reach up and adjust the position of those tune-up balls, moving them down a 0.5 millimeter. or up. Play around with it. It's your practice. You make the decisions. I'm just here to pet my cat and offer suggestions. Notice if you're clenching the jaw as you move through this motion. Can you relax the jaw? Maybe aligning breath to movement. Little breath in as you lift the chin. Breath out as you lower the chin. But you decide if that feels like more complexity than you need. Keep working at your own pace. Find whatever feels good. Spend just a few more breaths working here. Nearly there. So you decide, do you want to take those last few breaths in movement or stillness? Let's take one last breath together. Let the chin still. Deep, full breath in. Big sigh out. What can you let go? When you're ready, reach up with your left hand and support your head, lifting it away from the balls and sliding them aside. Let your head come back down to your block or prop. And just notice how the head feels. How does the back of your neck feel? Maybe a little flatter. Might let the chin fall over to the left and right, just rolling again across the suboccipital muscle. And back through center. Deep, full breath in. Big breath out. Inhaling, we lift the head, can support it with your hand again, and slide your block or prop away. Oof, the ground feels far away now. You can let your head come down. And just notice, for me, I'm already crunching into that neck. I'm lifting my chin, so I'm going to tuck my chin in towards my neck and look for a little more length through my cervical spine. Shoulders resting down, hands might be on the belly to notice your breath. How does the back of the head feel? Might be the same. Sometimes we move through these exercises and it takes a while for them to start to resonate with our body. Some rolling exercises simply don't align for certain people, and that's okay too. That's why we practice, that's why we try it all and learn what works for us. Or maybe you're feeling a little bit more spacious. Maybe that movement at the neck is feeling a little easier. That's great too. Just take a moment to observe. And we'll close with one last breath together. Deep, full breath in. Big sigh out. Thanks so much for giving that a shot. And we'll see you again in our next rolling video.